Hello Year 11. So today we are going to have a look at finishing the notes, the language notes for Suetonius, portents about Julius Caesar, about the murder of Julius Caesar, okay? So, for your starter, think back and tell me what would happen if an animal struggled during a sacrifice. How many vultures Romulus saw from Palatine Hill and how many Remus saw from the Aventine Hill? And tell me how many omens Caesar ignored and what those omens were, please. So, let's move on to the lesson then. Et Calpurnia uxor imaginata est con labi fastigium domus maritumque in gremio suo confodi. And his wife Calpurnia dreamed the gable of the house collapsed, and her husband was stabbed in her lap. So, we reckon that Calpurnia was probably Caesar's fourth wife. They married in 59 BC when she was about 32 years old at the time of his death. Again, we've got this imaginata est, so just like in the Pliny text, this formulaic expression indicates that, we're being told about a dream. Okay, she imagined or she dreamed. And fastigium, so the fastigium was the sort of triangular gable end of a temple, but Caesar had been voted the honour of having a temple gable on the house. So the collapse of it in Calpurnia's dream links Caesar's unparalleled power to his downfall as well. Ac subito cubiculi fores sponte patuerunt. And suddenly the double doors of the bedroom opened of their own accord. Ob haec simul et ob infirmam valitudinem du cunctatus anse contineret. Because of this, and at the same time because of his weak health, he hesitated for a long time whether to stay at home. So, this parallel phrasing, this repetition of the ob here and the and this phrasing, it shows that Caesar was giving equal weight to the omens and to his ill health as well. So he was thinking at the same time, oh, I'm poorly, but he was also thinking about Calpurnia's dreams as well. But Suetonius is creating tension here, so he's showing him delaying for a long time, this diu cunctatus, delaying for a long time. So the reader knows what the final outcome of these events is, but he's prolonging this and he's emphasising Caesar's opportunities to avoid his fate. So in this way, Suetonius is adding drama to a very familiar episode, even though we all know how it's going to turn out, and even though Suetonius' contemporary audience knew how it was going to turn out. It's very dramatic, this retelling. Et quae apud senatum proposuerat agere differet, and put off the business which he had planned to do in the Senate. Tandem decimo bruto ad hotante ne frequentes ad iam dudum operientes destitueret. At last, with Decimus Brutus advising him, lest he disappoint the crowded and long since waiting Senate House. So, Brutus then is, this Brutus here, Decimus Junius Brutus Albinus, is confused with Marcus Junius Brutus. So Decimus had served with Caesar in Gaul, and he was one of Caesar's heirs, and he was much closer to him than Marcus Junius Brutus. He was also a prime mover in the assassination, and he was very active when he was fighting Mark Antony during the Civil War. According to Plutarch, Decimus encouraged Caesar by saying that the senators are frequentes and operientes, so they're crowded and they're waiting, because he's trying to convince him to go to the Senate House. And in Plutarch, it says that he was, trying to convince Caesar that they were crowded and waiting in order to vote him in as king of the provinces outside of Italy. Quinta ferre hora progressus est libellumque insidiarum indicem ab obvio quodam prorectum. Libellis ceteris. He set off at the 5th hour, having been handed a document by a certain bystander giving information about the conspirators. So the 5th hour, hopefully you will remember, is around about 10 a.m. And Plutarch goes into more detail about this, suggesting that it was a Greek teacher of philosophy named Artemidorus who wrote down the whole conspiracy and then handed it to Julius Caesar. Libellis ceteris quos sinistra manu tenebat quasi mos lecturus commiscuit, which he mixed with the rest of the documents he was holding in his left hand, as though, that's meant to say he was about to read them soon. So, the left-hand side is an ill-omened side, don't forget. So, even though Caesar is mock lecturus, is intending to read it soon, he won't do that, which is a touch of dramatic irony, and it's again adding to this very, very dramatic telling that Suetonius is giving us. Deum pluribus hostiis caesis cum litare non posset. Next, with more victims having been killed, when he was not able to obtain a favourable omen. Right, so let's not forget, before a meeting, they had to take these omens. And it was common practice for unsuccessful sacrifices to keep on being repeated until a favourable reading was obtained. Caesar was unable to obtain a favourable reading because his fate was sealed. So Suetonius does imply later in his text that the awaited sacrifice was actually Caesar himself. Introiit curiam spreta religione sporidnamque iridens et ut falsam arguens. He went inside the Senate House, having been scorned by the ritual, and mocking Spirina, and accusing him as false. So, this spreta iridiens arguens, all of these are participles, and because there's 3 of them, it's called a tricolon. So this emphasises Caesar's error as he enters the Senate House. So the verb introiet moved to the start of the clause, which emphasises that he stepped into that Senate House, his fate is sealed. Quod sine ulla sua noxa idus mortiae addescent. Because the Ides of March came without any harm to him. Quamquam is venisse, quidam eas diceret, sed non praeterisse. Although he was saying that indeed they came, but they had not gone. So, there's a lot of sibilance in these lines, the repetition of that S. And it's a brief statement as well, and it's very forceful, and it's adding to this sinister tone of this famous pronouncement that, the Ides of March had come, but they'd not gone. So, that is the last of your notes on Suetonius. What I would like you to do, I've got a couple of tasks for you to do now, and they're all kind of along the lines of helping you to do revision. So, the first thing that I would like you to do is a bullet point plan of an essay, okay? You guys have written, I don't know how many 16 markers for me now. Hopefully, you would be able to have a go at this essay. For the Romans, dreams were the least important form of divining the future. So, to what extent do you agree with this statement? So, don't write the full essay, just plan what you would write in the form of bullet points. So if you would use, Suetonius, say what points you would make from Suetonius. If you wanted to use one of the picture sources, say which picture source and say why you think it's important. Okay? Just a bullet point plan, guys. So don't forget then that you will need to know the English translations for Pliny, Martial and Petronius. You will need to know the source images and the rest of the background topic as well for the mocks. So with that in mind, I would like you to attach to Teams, please, a selection of 5 short answer questions covering any of the sources for the mock. So this does mean that you've got to write the questions, obviously. They should be in the same format as the ones that I gave you on Friday. So you're going to need to put a quote and a line reference, a comprehension type question, and the number of marks that are available. I'd also like you to attach a mark scheme for me as well. You can do it in pretty much any format you want. You can have it as, they've got to write an answer, or it could be they've got to select a correct answer. Okay, I want to see what you come up with, alright? And I may even use these as a form of revision for you, so you can answer each other's revision questions if there are some particularly good ones. The reason why I'm doing this is because you really do get to know a text a lot better when you're trying to write an exam for it, so I figured, let's make you revise by writing questions. Okay, everyone, so that is everything. If you need anything, please do drop me a line. I am in school and I am attached to my laptop and my desktop computer as well if you need anything. So I hope that you enjoy the lesson and have fun.